Tonight, Monday Night Raw airs once again from the Amway Center in Orlando, Florida, inside the WWE Thunderdome. We have the main event, or what it would appear to be anyway at the time of recording. The main event for the show is a six-man tag team match. We have the WWE Champion Drew McIntyre teaming up with the Raw Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits, to go up against Randy Orton, Dolph Ziggler, and Robert Roode. Now, of course, Robert Roode returned to Monday Night Raw last week, facing off against Drew McIntyre in the main event for the WWE Championship. Drew McIntyre, when he kicked off the show with the WWE legends, including Big Show, Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, and Christian, said he was going to put the WWE Championship on the line against a person he's never faced before, or never had challenged for the WWE Championship, rather, and that was the returning Robert Roode, who of course had returned for the first time since, I believe it was about March, since maybe Elimination Chamber. He competed for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships at that event, and he had subsequently been traded to Monday Night Raw with Dolph Ziggler in exchange for AJ Styles going to Friday Night SmackDown in the summer. And Robert Roode had essentially been on hiatus purely because of the travel restrictions associated with COVID-19. Of course, Robert Roode travels in from Canada for every TV taping. The travel from Canada to the United States is difficult. Travel from country to country anywhere at the moment is very, very difficult because of the quarantine, because of the difference in severity of COVID-19 in different countries, different states, different towns, different cities. So all of that was very, very difficult. That's why the likes of Lance Storm got furloughed by WWE, because he was stuck in Canada. That's a lot of the guys over here in the UK have been stuck over here in the UK because they can't travel to the United States. It's very, very difficult. But Robert Roode was able to overcome that, and Robert Roode is now back on Monday Night Raw full time, and he'll be part of the main event tonight on Monday Night Raw. Now, it would appear that if you've got Drew McIntyre teaming with the Street Profits, going up against Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler, to me, that says that the Street Profits' next contenders for the Raw Tag Team Championships are Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. Now, I don't necessarily have a massive problem with that. Lord knows the Street Profits need new opponents to face. The tag team division in WWE, I think I echo the thoughts of many people inside the WWE universe and the thoughts of many people on social media right now. That tag team division in WWE, not just on Raw, on SmackDown, and on NXT for that matter too, it needs unifying. There doesn't need to be 3 separate tag team championships in WWE right now. They don't have the roster or the tag team division on any show for it. Tag team wrestling in WWE for a long, long time, unfortunately, has been an afterthought. I think the problem was, and what made WWE able to get away with it for so long, was that there wasn't any major competitors that were kind of showing WWE how you should be promoting tag team wrestling. Of course, you had it in Japan, but let's be brutally honest here. The amount of casual fans in the United States or around the world that pay attention to the likes of New Japan is actually quite minimal. There wasn't any major domestic promotion that was really showing, look, this is how you do tag team wrestling. And I don't want to make this video into an AEW versus WWE scenario, but AEW, they have the best tag team division in the world. They just do. The amount of depth they have in that division, whether it is FTR, the Young Bucks, Blade and the Butcher, Jurassic Express, prior to them breaking up, Kenny Omega and Hangman Page, Private Party, Best Friends, I could go on and on and on. Their tag team division, Lucha Brothers, how did I forget them? Their tag team division in AEW is absolutely insane. The depth there is absolutely insane, and tag team wrestling is treated as a completely different entity to singles wrestling in AEW. It's actually treated as a separate division, and the problem is in WWE, a lot of the time, a lot of tag teams, and Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode is a great example of this, a lot of tag teams are 2 singles guys that have been thrown together because there's nothing else for them to do in the singles division. That's just how tag team wrestling works, and then until one of them gets over, they'll then split up and they'll carry on being a singles. Look at Sheamus and Cesaro. They've been one of the best tag teams in WWE over the last 3 or 4 years. They haven't been together for about a year now, but they were 2 singles guys thrown together, and it worked. Cesaro, that's the king of what he does in WWE. He's the king of being in tag teams, whether it's Sheamus, Jack Swagger, Shinsuke Nakamura, Tyson Kidd. Cesaro is just such a great talent that it makes it work. But, I mean, I've gone off on a tangent there, but my point being, there just isn't the depth on Raw, on SmackDown, or NXT to have a sustainable tag team division, and that's why, in my opinion, the tag team division has suffered so much on all 3 shows this year. There just isn't the tag teams there for it. How many times have we seen the Street Profits face off against Angel Garza and Andrade? And who knows, maybe that feud would have continued if Angel Garza hadn't got injured, at the last pay-per-view at Clash of Champions. So I think at this point, Survivor Series is coming up. The best option there for me would be do Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT, win a take-all, and then treat the tag team championships the same way that you do with the women's tag team championships. If you're the tag team champions, you can appear on Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, and you have then a much wider breadth of tag teams to be facing, and it opens up the opportunity to have this crossover that WWE loves to do on Raw and on SmackDown and on NXT, and really get some NXT talents over and get them on Raw and SmackDown. That's the way for me to do it. Now, will they do that? I don't know. There have been rumors about new tag team championships being designed. I heard, this was a while ago, that they were already sitting on some SmackDown tag team championships or some new SmackDown tag team championships. Whether that's the case or not, who knows? But there have been reports about that. I just think tag team wrestling in general in WWE needs a major overhaul. Whether that's merging all of the tag team divisions together, I don't know. But certainly there needs to be something done there, because tag team wrestling in WWE it's just, and this is no fault of the talent that's involved in any of it, it's just meaningless. It's not the front and center of the show. It's not the major storylines, and you'd never have a pay-per-view or a TV. Maybe you'd have a TV main event with it on Raw, because the Raw, it's difficult to figure out when the main event actually is on Monday Night Raw. Sometimes it's at the end of the third hour, sometimes it's at the end of the second hour. Who knows? Really, who knows when it comes to Monday Night Raw recently? But that's my opinion when it comes to tag team wrestling in WWE. Obviously, this 6-man tag team match is more about Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. That feud isn't over yet. That was evident last week. We've had the match at SummerSlam, which Drew McIntyre won with the backslide. We had the match at Clash of Champions, which was the ambulance match. That, for me, that was, if they wanted Drew McIntyre to drop the title, that would have been the time to do it, because they had an out. I think that was the best time to do it. The thing with ambulance matches is you can lose that match without really losing. When they had their standard singles match at SummerSlam, Randy Orton, I don't think, was ever going to beat Drew McIntyre clean in the middle of the ring. They want to protect Drew McIntyre, and rightfully so. I think he's done a fantastic job as WWE Champion. I think he's been a real high spot of Monday Night Raw this year in times where Monday Night Raw has been a very, very difficult watch, even for the standards of Monday Night Raw. Drew McIntyre has been fantastic, and you look at previous WWE champions, Universal champions in recent years, when they get the big monster babyface pushed, usually the fans begin to turn on them. Look at Seth Rollins as Universal champion, look at Roman Reigns. Support for WrestleNews 365 is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Now, Manscaped, for all of my UK fans out there, Manscaped just launched in the UK. Over here in the United Kingdom, we have gone for years and years and years without using the right tools for the job. But now you can be one of the first men in England to experience their life-changing products. But it's not just limited to all of the great fans over here in the UK. This offer goes worldwide, so all of my friends over in America and around the world that are listening to this offer still does apply for you. You can still use our code. But I've got to tell you a quick story first. Now, there have been so many times, right? I'm a guy. You gotta groom down there, fellas, right? That's the most important thing. You gotta keep yourself trimmed. You gotta keep yourself proper. And a lot of the time, I've been guilty of this, of using the wrong tools for the job. I've had incidences, I'm not afraid to say it, where things have been nicked, snagged, or in fact cut down there because I wasn't being careful enough and using the right equipment. Now that just shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen. You don't want to be worrying about cutting yourself down there. Do you know how painful that is? I can tell you, it hurts quite a lot. And I wish and hope to God it never happens to me again, and it won't happen to me ever again because I'm using Manscaped products. That's why Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer. The Manscaped engineering team has perfected the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created. Big statement, but it's absolutely true. They have just released the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0 in the UK. It's also available around the world as well. Their third generation trimmer features a cutting edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents. So those cuts and snags that I was telling you about before are a thing of the past. And let me tell you, when I tell you this is premium, I mean premium. The battery will last up to 90 minutes so you can get a longer, perfect shave. And not only that, you don't want to be cutting yourself and trimming yourself all over the bathroom, getting hair all over the place. That's just disgusting. The lawnmower has a waterproof technology that allows you to groom in the shower, so no more mess. And one of the coolest features, one of my favourite features about the lawnmower, is the LED light which illuminates grooming areas for a closer and more precise trimming experience. So you can shave longer, you can shave more precisely, and you can shave in the shower. What more did I need to tell you? They've also upgraded to a 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology, and let's not forget about the charging stand. You can show off your mower loud and proud because this intelligently designed stand is a convenient charging dock powered by USB. So, if you are listening to me speak right now, I want you to experience it firsthand for yourself. Let's get that bush to tush clean, and you can get 20% off and free shipping. Yeah, you heard me right there. 20% off and free shipping. All you have to do is use the code 365wrestle at manscaped.com. Make your testes their besties. That's 20% off and free shipping. Not only are you getting 20% off, you're getting free shipping as well with the code 365wrestle at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and use the code 365wrestle. Your balls will thank you. And that's not any fault, I would argue, of Rollins and Reigns. Maybe on Rollins' side, he didn't endear himself to the fan base on social media during that period of time. But I think the problem was during that period was that the storylines, the writing, the promos, they just weren't well written and they weren't endearing to the audience. And that's evident by the boos and the mixed responses that they received during that period of time. Drew McIntyre has had it even more difficult than any of them. Drew McIntyre has never competed in front of a live fan as WWE champion. I mean, a paying live fan. Yes, they had the NXT Performance Center recruits on, was it 1 or 2 episodes of Raw? Yes, they had the friends and family there, but he didn't have any paid live fans. Drew McIntyre, his first WWE championship, he won in front of 0 fans at WrestleMania during the height of a pandemic, which has not gone anywhere, by the way. And he's done fantastic. And if you look at social media, if you look at, or you chat to anyone inside the WWE universe, they'll tell you that Drew McIntyre has done a great job as WWE champion. He still has the faith of the audience, and that's a credit to him because he is doing a fantastic job. But when it comes to this feud with Randy Orton, we've heard the rumors, we've heard the reports that Randy Orton at some point will win the WWE championship. Vince McMahon wants to have Randy Orton and Edge 3 at WrestleMania 37, wherever WrestleMania 37 takes place, of course. But we've heard the rumors that he wants to have Edge versus Randy Orton 3, rumors that it was going to be an I Quit match, and another rumor, of course, that it was going to be for the WWE Championship. Now, I've said on numerous occasions, for me, Randy Orton versus Edge at WrestleMania doesn't need the WWE Championship. They have so much stock and so much history in WWE, Edge and Randy Orton, both multiple-time world champions in double digits when it comes to their world championships in WWE. I don't see Edge versus Randy Orton needing it. It doesn't. I don't need the WWE title to sell that match. It's never been the case. Now, the Edge versus Randy Orton feud has been booked backwards. The first match is a last man standing match. The second match is a singles match. The third match rumored to be an I Quit match. I don't see the need for the WWE Championship to be involved there. I think the idea of Edge becoming WWE Champion again after his miraculous return to the ring, I think is interesting. I think that's a feel-good moment that WWE would want to do. It's just a case of, does Edge want to be WWE Champion? WWE Champion, he's not like Brock Lesnar in that if he's going to be champion, he wants to be there every week on TV. Can Edge do that? Will Edge do that? All of that is up in the air. So I don't know. There have been rumors that, as I mentioned, that Randy Orton is going to win the WWE Championship for that reason. It didn't happen at SummerSlam. I thought it was going to happen at Clash of Champions. It didn't happen at Clash of Champions. But it looks like we're going to get the third match at Hell in a Cell. Now, this was teased last week by Randy Orton. Drew McIntyre kind of said to him last week, I've already beaten you twice, you're not going to get another championship shot. What makes you think you're going to get another opportunity at the WWE Championship? And I thought brilliantly, Randy Orton said, because I'm Randy Orton. Which is, to be honest, as responses go and as logic and storylines go in WWE, that pretty much makes as much sense. That's pretty much a shoot. It's a lot of people looking for logic. Well, what has Randy Orton done to deserve a WWE Championship match? He's lost 2 title matches in a row. Is he the number 1 contender? Blah, blah, blah. Him just coming out on Raw last week saying, I'm going to get it because I'm Randy Orton, is pretty much a fact. He's going to get that 3rd title shot because he's Randy Orton. Obviously, in storyline, they're going to say because he attacked the legends that Drew McIntyre is going to respond. But even prior to that, Randy Orton said the word hell about 1,000,000 times during his promo with Drew McIntyre last week on Raw. So we're going towards Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton 3 at Hell in a Cell. Now, is it going to be inside Hell in a Cell? I don't know. We have seen Hell in a Cell pay-per-views when there have been 3 Hell in a Cell matches, but then we've also seen Hell in a Cell pay-per-views where there's only been 1. So far, I think we're looking at 2. Now, obviously, Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso is going to happen at Hell in a Cell. They've been going a bit back and forth as to if this is actually inside Hell in a Cell. I think it is. I think it makes sense to have that match inside Hell in a Cell. It's a personal issue. It's a family issue. Hell in a Cell is the perfect match type for that. There's also been rumors that Bayley versus Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's Championship would main event Hell in a Cell, the entire pay-per-view, and that would also be inside Hell in a Cell. And I wouldn't disagree that match type suits that feud. I mean, it's beyond personal and it's been building for a long time. If you know me, you know that I would prefer to have Bayley versus Sasha Banks. I prefer them to drag that out, save it until WrestleMania. I think that can be a main event of a WrestleMania. I think there's so much stock, there's so much time in that match, and so much time that we as fans have invested in that match. By the time WrestleMania 37 comes around, it had been 2 years since they defended the Women's Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania 35. They lost, and Sasha Banks went away, and that's where this whole storyline began. They could tell a fantastic story, but I think they're rushing that. So it looks like we're getting Bayley, Sasha Banks inside Hell in a Cell. So that would make 2 Hell in a Cell matches already for Hell in a Cell. So does Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre happen inside Hell in a Cell? I think it should. In terms of the rivalry, it's beyond personal, right? You had Randy Orton kick all of these legends in the head previously. Then you had Randy Orton kick Drew McIntyre in the head 3 times. Randy Orton got hit with a Claymore then 3 times by Drew McIntyre. The legends came back with the ghost of Randy Orton's past and cost him the WWE Championship at Clash of Champions. But then last week on Monday Night Raw, you had night vision goggle wearing Randy Orton attack one of the legends backstage. It was bizarre. It was really bizarre. That segment last week, because you knew something was happening. All of the legends last week were sitting there backstage in the Legends Lounge. What is it with all of these lounges, by the way, in WWE right now? You got the Champions Lounge, the Legends Lounge. There's going to be a million different. The VIP Lounge. They're just in love with lounges right now. Forget the Thunderdome, it's the Lounge Dome. But you knew that something was going to happen because you had all of these legends. You had Flair, you had Christian, HBK, Big Show. They're all backstage playing poker last week. Backstage playing poker and drinking, I'm assuming, an alcoholic beverage. I don't know. But they're all backstage drinking and playing poker, having a good time, and they kept cutting back to them throughout the show. And you just go, well, something's going to happen. Unless we're watching a very, very strange take on the ECW strip poker segment from 2006, something weird is going to happen here. And that weird thing that happened was Randy Orton attacking them. So Randy Orton was dressed up as a janitor, I guess, to fool people of some sorts. He then turns the lights off, puts night vision goggles on, and seemingly attacks, I'm using air quotes there, attacks all the legends with a steel chair. Why did they have the lights off? Well, obviously because you can't touch Christian because of his concussion history, so he isn't being touched. Obviously Ric Flair you can't touch because of his health issues. They had to dim the lights on Randy Orton and punted him in the skull, so he can't touch Flair or Christian, so that's why they did it. And to be honest, I don't know if Big Show or Shawn Michaels want to take chair shots anyway, so it was implied that Randy Orton had absolutely destroyed all of them with a steel chair, and I guess that is going to be the catalyst to give Drew McIntyre reason to go back after Randy Orton and have their WWE Championship match at Hell in a Cell. So I'm sure we'll get some form of an announcement, maybe tonight, maybe even next week, I don't know. In terms of the draft, how do I think any of these people will be affected in the draft? I don't see Ziggler or Roode going back to SmackDown. They just got traded over to Raw. And to be honest, it was Robert Roode's first appearance as a member of the Raw roster since being traded last week. So it would be quite amusing to see him traded straight back to SmackDown. In terms of the Street Profits, well, they're the Raw Tag Team Champions. I could see them getting moved to SmackDown. Why not? I think Fox would love them. They're an entertaining tag team. They're quite popular. So maybe they do get moved over. Drew McIntyre, I don't think is going anywhere unless he lost the WWE Championship, but he's kind of the bedrock of Monday Night Raw right now. He's the cornerstone. He's the hood ornament. He's the guy. Randy Orton's an interesting one. I wouldn't put it past them moving Randy Orton to SmackDown. I think it's all dependent on if Randy Orton wins the WWE Championship. You could If Randy Orton gets moved to SmackDown, then I think him winning the WWE Championship isn't happening. If Randy Orton goes to SmackDown, then maybe we have Edge and Randy Orton transition over to SmackDown. Maybe they want to have that on Fox because it has a bigger audience. I don't know. Maybe the Fox executives want Edge versus Randy Orton on SmackDown. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see on that one. But I would speculate that I don't think any of these 6 guys will be affected by the draft. The only people I think are most likely would be the Street Profits. We'll have to wait and see. How do the Raw Tag Team Champions move to SmackDown? They would have to lose the titles pretty quickly. We'll have to wait and see. But of course, as always, this is just one man's opinion. What are your thoughts and predictions of this 6-man tag team match tonight between the WWE Champion Drew McIntyre teaming up with the Raw Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits, to face off against Randy Orton, Dolph Ziggler, and Robert Roode? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I'll be sure to respond and reply to all of your comments. Really enjoy chatting the wrestling with you guys here on YouTube. If you have enjoyed this video, please do smash a like on the like button as well. It really does help us out here on YouTube. Go up the rankings and get into people's recommendation feeds if they haven't seen our videos previously. But most importantly, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to Wrestle News 365. You can do that by clicking the bottom right hand corner of the screen right now, or if you wait a few seconds, there'll be a subscribe button at the end of this video along with another video for you to watch. Thank you very much for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.